Hey, Shalom Akim, Shalom. First, thank you foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'm going to like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel, bro. I lift up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just some quick lesson, just a couple of precepts. Going into spiritual power, kind of laying back off the bro. This guy Vocab Malone, he made mention like these guys from One West believe that they're gonna have superpowers, shoot laser beams out of their eyes, fly, and do all sorts of kookiness, right? Well, that's in the scriptures, and the scriptures prove that the men of the Lord are gonna have supernatural abilities. How the hell do you think the prophets had miraculous abilities to raise the dead, call fire down from heaven, okay, heal the sick? King David was able to kill thousands of men, leap over 80-foot walls, wrestle a bear. Was that some type of supernatural ability, or was that just all the figment of the Lord's imagination? Is it all metaphorical and allegorical? Okay, because according to the Bible, to believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's power. To do the work on the highways and the byways, that's a spiritual power, because it's based on and shrouded in belief. You see? So yes, spiritual power is definitely coming back in a big way. Because see, the Lord, he does everything with balance. You have to understand the Lord operates within balance. Now you have shit on the left-hand side. Like you got magicians, right? You got somebody like David Blaine, Chris Angel. You know, you got all this dark magic nonsense, all this witchcraft, black magic, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, Santeria, Christianity. All these things that people are doing on the left-hand side, casting spells, that's a form of spiritual power. Like the Elder Wamba called it a pseudo power. Okay, it's bootleg. It's not really the real deal. It's kind of like a pharmaceutical almost. Like, you know how they give you the herb and they kind of adulterate, they put all types of shit in and extract the real shit from it, but they give you a small piece of what it really is. That's kind of like what the left-hand side is. So we seeing planes, we're seeing fucking technology. I mean, the cell phone itself is a form of power on the left. Well, power given from on high. Esau just used it for nefarious means. But the human in the Thummim, or human in the Thummim, which means perfect light, a great light, that's power. You see, Wi-Fi, that's a form of power. So if Esau has movies on these things and he has people literally operating on the left-hand side, like Chris Angel, man, that motherfucker could levitate. I think it was one magic trick that he threw. It was like a deck of cards. It was a while back, but it was a deck of cards, man. I believe he was in a restaurant, so he went through a deck of cards. He was like, look, pick the cards, and I guarantee you I could make your car stick on the back of the window. So let's just say hypothetically, the two couples, the dude chose, like I say, chose a deuce or a two of spades, right? And Chris Angel, he didn't have to look at the card, but he shuffled it up and he went outside. And from what I heard, it's like he threw the cards or something and hit the dude's card stuck to the opposite side of the window, and that was the card that the fucking dude chose, man. So that's magic on the left-hand side, man. Witchcraft, sorcery. So if you have that shit on the left-hand side, what make you think that we're not going to get it on the right-hand side? Spiritual power. Why is it so hard to believe that the men of the Lord are going to fly? Why is it so hard to believe that the men of the Lord are going to throw fireballs or to have spiritual power, mind-reading abilities? Especially when the Lord showed you the, what is it called? The, transfiguration. Well, basically, I call it the Lord went Saiyan mode. Basically went into his angelic body. He went up to the mountain. I believe he took Peter, James, and John, if I'm not mistaken. And he basically went Saiyan mode on them. You see? And showed them the hologram of Elijah. And I believe it was Elijah and Moses. Which was so funny because Peter was Moses. If you understand the history of King David, you understand who he was through the Spirit. But that's power, man. But you don't believe in the Lord. That's why you said, because the Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai is not dwelling with you, man. Okay? So this is the book of let's go to Proverbs 11:1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So you can't have light without dark, can't have up without down, left without right, can't have wickedness without righteousness. They complement each other. The Lord controls them both. Okay? Out of the 2 parts of the day, you got day and night. 12 hours for the night, or for the evening, then for the day. That's called a balance, man. All right? Psalm 62. No, this is Job 31:6. It says, let me be weighed in an even balance. Okay? That the Most High may know my integrity. Balance. Proverbs 16:11. A just and weight balance are the Lord's. All the ways of the bad are his work. Okay? Proverbs 20:23. Divers weights are an abomination to Yahweh, and a false balance is not good. So that proves the point. There's a balance to everything. Okay? There's a balance to everything, every work. Every land counterpart has a fucking ocean counterpart. Okay? You have similar things. You have similar spirits. You know, you have different cars. You have different brands, different models, same fashion. So it makes sense that if you have the power on the left-hand side, we're definitely going to get it on the right-hand side, because the left-hand side is going to come against us using the left-hand power. Okay? This is the book of John 14. And I'm going to start at verses 10. It says, believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? It says, the words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me. It says, he doeth the works. Okay? The Father doeth the works. What's the works? The miracles. It says there were so many miracles written in the scriptures to the point they all couldn't be contained. That's how many miracles Yahushua did in his time, that they couldn't be contained. Okay? You could write a whole book itself of Yahushua doing the miracles. And when we get in the kingdom, we're going to learn about all the miracles Yahushua did. And we're going to read about them, and we're going to witness it. Because the Lord said that, hey, greater works that I do, greater works should you do than these, because I go unto my Father. And we're going to get it. It says, believe that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. Or else believe me for the very work's sake. Believe me. I mean, shit, if you don't believe what I'm saying, at least I raised the dead. I healed the sick. I gave man sight. Okay, I turned water into wine. You know what I'm saying? I've done these things. What more do you need to see? And it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. It's that simple. He says, greater works shall we do. Did not people get healed by the shadow of Peter? Did not Paul had the handkerchief and blessed and healed? Did he not cast out demons? The same demons that those vagabond Jews got overcame by. Did not Apostle Paul actually do an exorcism and get the demons out? Paul was a well-notable man of the Lord doing miracles in the name of Yahushua. How much more us? And the times that we're getting ready to enter into. And I believe, and just me speaking as a man, I believe one of the first miracles, and we've done it before, but it's going to be like just a readily accessible thing, is that healing is coming back. Healing is coming back. Okay, from some time now up until when they shut the internet, however it's going to work. One day we going to wake up and we going to have healing abilities. Brothers are going to be getting healed. You're going to hear about it. And based on faith, brothers are going to be getting healed, man. And that's really going to fuck with your spirit vocab. You may just give up the spirit after that. All right, because we know how much you hate us anyway. And that's good, because you're going to be around to witness all that. I highly believe you're going to be around to witness the men of the Lord doing powers, man. And that's a beautiful thing, because you're going to be confounded. Okay? So, matter of fact, let's go to Exodus, the 7th chapter. Exodus 7. And I'm going to start at verses... let's start at verses 8. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh should speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it should become a serpent. Okay, so let's look this up. A miracle, all right? Goes to all right. Wonder, sign, miracle. Wonder as a special display of God's power. Sign, token of future event. Ooh. Okay. So read that vocab. But I forgot you don't really hold the Old Testament as relevant. You like to jump around. And it says, and Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. So they had power on the left-hand side. And the Pharaoh called the wise men of the sorcerers. Salakia. Let me read that again. And Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord commanded. And Aaron casted his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. That's the right-hand power. And Pharaoh also called the wise men and sorcerers and the magicians of Egypt, and also did in like mind with their enchantments. You see? See, the Lord considered ours miracles, but he considered theirs enchantments, because they're both alone power, but one is coming from diverse sides. Okay? When you look up magicians, the definition of magicians goes into a diviner, a magician, astrologer. Okay? One possessed of occult knowledge. So they understood and partook in these rituals. They had cabals then in Egypt, man. They had secret societies then too. It ain't just here in Babylon the Great when these people, they hide behind it. No, they had their own form of the enlightenment too. Look at Pharaoh's going into it. All right. And it goes into enchantments as well, which is witchcraft and sorcery, which is their shit on the left-hand side, which goes into the Hebrew word lahat, flame, okay, which enchantment means, look this up, look up, magic, captivation, okay, captivation. Necromancy, hypnotism, spells, black arts. Like we read, there's a balance with everything. Okay. For they cast down every man's rod, and they became the serpents, and Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord said. So those are miracles, man. And it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and refused to let the people go. So go thee into Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out into the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and a rod which was turned unto a serpent shall thou take into thy hand. So the Lord told Moses to take the staff which they turned to a serpent. He said, take it with you and go by the brink of the river. And thou shalt say unto him, Yahweh, the power of Hebrews, have sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hereto thou wouldest not hear. And said unto the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. But behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they should be turned into blood. So basically, Moses was a conduit that the Most High was working through. He was working directly through Moses, man. And the fish in the water and river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, take thy rod, and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their waters, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh, in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned into blood, bro. So what are you talking about, vocab? That's power there. These ain't just stories that's written down. The scripture said the things that are written for our learning were written for our learning today. So this is just not some fairy tale to read just to make people go to church every fucking Sunday morning, man. These are actual accounts. And there's history on these things, man. It's historical facts that ancient Egypt was smitten by plagues, man. It was Egypt that the sea was parted. It was history, man. It was account of a flood. All these things happen. And scholars, they can trace it back to somewhat biblical times, man. Even if they don't like to fully be honest about the events, they know it did happen. Okay, so you going off, bro. This is my last precept. I got to go up here. I got this appointment. Revelation 11:5, it says, if any man hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must be killed in this manner. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over the waters to turn them into blood. We just read it in Exodus. And to smite the earth with all the plagues as often as they will, man. Okay? So that's the point. We gonna get that power sooner than later, bro. So anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom and a Baba Ball. Shalom.